we are all well. I'm Benson, and I will be moderating tonight's discussion. And I hope it shall be quick as well as productive. So, from the posters, I'm not very sure. I'm not very sure the procedure. Oh yeah, I see we are live. The meeting is now being live streamed. Maybe just give an actual minute to everyone to just say the introduction. And I have a timer. If you exceed 1 minute, I will be cutting it short. So maybe 1 minute each person to just say something just before we start.
Okay, I think it's not everyone is comfortable. Yeah,
hello.
Continue,
Okay.
Donald.
So maybe we can just in case someone is not comfortable, so to take care of that, I will just ask whoever wishes to maybe greet the team.
I am about to start.
Okay,
to
please.
start it. Okay, I'm happy to join you guys again. I have been missing for a very, very long time. And my dear Dorcas is juggling balls. Please, I wish you would be juggling mine. But I am Donald. I am in Nairobi. I am part of this group, but I have not been joining for some long time, so I'm just coming back. Where is Morioki? And let's have a good meeting.
I'm here.
That is
I'm
all.
here.
Yes, Morioki, I missed you. You are someone I love bullying. I'm glad to join this. May the next person do it.
All right, thanks, Donald. So as we proceed, I was in the process of saying to accommodate everyone, if you are willing to do your introductions, just raise your hand so that I can call. Yeah, you're doing the BMB. If I see no hands, we will be
proceeding. For me, I will just be listening. So I'm not feeling well, so I'm just recovering. So you'll just proceed. I will be listening.
Okay, thanks, Tano.
Moroki tumemisiwa. Oh my God.
Hello, everyone. I'm myself. I'm John Otieno from Africa. Sorry, from Nairobi. I'm glad to join you tonight, and I hope to interact with all of you tonight. Thank you.
Next.
Hey all. Oh, sorry. Someone was speaking.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
Hi Dorcas, Morioki, and everyone else. Mini Ivan, Teuti. It's been a while since I attended one of these meetings, but today I hope I'll be able to participate. Thank you.
All right, I logged off kidogo because I was charging my phone, but once again, I'm Dorcas, a member of SAS-K, and I am very excited about this discussion. Yes, I know it is depressing because it's partly about depression. Depression is depressing, but I look forward to dissecting this matter from a rational perspective because I know it is an issue that many of us are dealing with. Not just depression, it could be anxiety or it could be low self-esteem. So I thank the person that suggested the topic, and I'm also grateful to the person that volunteered to moderate it. I can't wait to hear solutions so that we can improve each other's lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorcas. May the next, we can just go sequentially. We are not going to be lifting hands so that we finish introductions within the next 5 minutes at most. And then we begin. Magnus, why are you running?
Did,
I
did Dorcas hear what I said? Excuse me.
don't hear any.
No, Donald, I
Did-
didn't. I'm sorry. I was logged out of the meeting by my phone.
you said you are juggling many balls, and I said you should be juggling my balls. I thought that was magnificent. I hope you had.
Is that a Valentine's offer?
Yeah, I thought that was one of my best moments. So
My gosh. My tongue is tied. What can
The
we
world
say?
is waiting. The world is waiting to hear your response, Dorcas.
Okay, I've received the proposal. Let me analyze it and get back to the applicant.
you don't need to analyze, you need to juggle. Let's continue.
That's all. Anyway, I'm going to hope that we are not locking anyone out who wanted to say something before we start. If such a person is there, we still have 2 minutes, after which we shall dive in to the topic of the day.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is my second meeting. I missed the other previous study, but I said, let me chip in here. I was invited earlier by Dorcas and her friends, so I'm glad to be here. And if I can contribute anything in the discussion, I'll be happy to. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, good. So for those who may have joined after my introduction, I'm Benson. In the group, I'm known as the pragmatist, and I will be your today's moderator for the discussion, which is dealing with low self-esteem, anxiety, and fear. I don't want to assume, but I think from time to time, at least once in your life, everyone has dealt with one of these three. And I would like today we just see how best we can handle them. I know maybe when you face them, there was a way that you dealt with them. There are plenty of ways of dealing with all of these things. Some mechanisms could be more effective than others. And as skeptics, I do believe that sometimes we may be privy to evidence-based practices which could present more effectiveness in handling these life situations. But even before we talk about how to deal with them, maybe it's just good to briefly go through what each of them it's all about. And the way I wanted us to structure today's discussion is to avoid confusion and maybe to avoid lack of boundaries, is just to go through each of the three items just one by one. So we can begin with low self-esteem. And within that subtopic, we will look at what it is, what are some possible causes, and then deep into the discussion now, we start talking about the interventions that could help you deal with these things or deal with low self-esteem. For those of us who might find themselves in that bracket. And with that, I pose a question. What does low self-esteem entail? What does it really mean? And when I was looking around, I found that it's mostly a mental characteristic where someone feels negative regarding their self-worth. Like you persistently feel like you lack the confidence in yourself, you lack the confidence in your abilities, and you generally feel maybe incompetent and inadequate. It doesn't mean you are incompetent, it doesn't mean you are inadequate, but it's just that internalized feeling of I'm not there. And there's a difference between a genuine admission of what you can and can't do versus just feeling that you can't, even when you actually can. I don't know. It is not always a rational feeling, but it is not always an irrational feeling. So sometimes there are genuine causes. Sometimes there are genuine causes, historical and things like that. And before I continue, I see Muriuki's hand is up. I would like to invite you to say whatever it is that you have to contribute, maybe to the definition, maybe you can give us some courses as we continue. Welcome, Muriuki.
Okay, thanks, Benson. I'm audible, eh? Can you hear me?
We
I'm
can
audible,
hear and see you. We
Okay,
can hear
fine,
and
thank
see you.
Okay, thanks. So for me, low self-esteem is like we just said, you don't believe in yourself. Like maybe you can do something, but your mind tells you that you can't, yet you can. So it's lack of self-belief in oneself, and it can be inherited, or something can happen in your childhood or late in your life to make you have it. So it's either inherited or some experience in life happens to make you acquire low self-esteem. Thanks.
Thank you for your contribution, Muriuki. You can now put your hand down.
Excuse me.
Yes, Donald.
I cannot raise my hand up. I'm using the website. So
No problem.
do I just interrupt, or what do I do when I want to speak?
I think what you did is pretty much okay. Just excuse me. You're okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's fine.
I want to obviously disagree with my favorite victim, Mr. Morioki. Yo, I miss bullying Morioki. That's something I genuinely enjoy. Uh, I, I, when it comes to self-esteem, I think if you think you can do something, most probably you cannot do it. Like you wouldn't think you can do the things you can do. This is much more personal and much more involved with understanding yourself. Because I genuinely believe if you think you cannot do something or you can do something, you can do it or you cannot do it. So generally, just take it back to yourself. Who are you? How do you understand yourself? What do you think you can do? Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Donald, for your contribution. I will just spend 30 seconds to maybe respond before we continue. The thing is, while you are right that under normal circumstances, we really don't think we can't do what we can do. The thing with low self-esteem is that negative feeling of maybe I'm not good enough for this, regardless of the facts. The fact is, for example, the fact is I can do ABC, but back in my mind, due to reasons we are about to discuss, back in my mind, I feel like I don't think I can do this. And that feeling, when it becomes
Then you cannot do
persistent,
it. Then you cannot do it. If you think you can't, you cannot do it.
okay. I think the issue is not the ability. The issue is self-doubt. I think that's a better descriptive word if I can. Self-doubt. That's what self-esteem. These three things. I think all of them, they touch on mental health and also how we think. They touch on psychology if you look at them. And the thing with mentalities is that sometimes what is in our mind is not necessarily the reality. Sometimes what we are feeling inside is not necessarily the reality. I hope that helps. Dorcas.
It doesn't. It confuses me. I'll speak. Let's have Dorcas.
Okay. Dorcas, please. You can submit your contribution.
Okay. Donald. Okay, ever the contrarian. I think low self-esteem, as the name indicates, self-esteem is how do you perceive yourself? Do you perceive yourself in a low manner, a negative manner, or a positive manner? If you have low self-perception, it is inconsequential of your actual capabilities. You just write yourself off even before considering your actual capabilities. Often it is inaccurate. You can't be bad at most things. At least there should be some things that you're good at. But if you have low self-esteem, you are biased against yourself and you judge yourself too harshly as well as inaccurately. That's what I would define as a low self-esteem. What are some causes? I believe upbringing is crucial. If you were brought up in a toxic family environment, maybe you had abusive parents or parents who had, what would I call it? They were impossible to please. They were always pushing you down. If you were number 2 in class, they said, why are you number 2? Why couldn't you be number 1? Things were never good enough for your parents. Then it eats into your self-esteem. And your parents are the number 1 source of influence in your life. It can also come from school. If you were bullied, if you were treated harshly by your peers, then that can create a low self-esteem. Then sometimes it could be brought about by a one incident that is not generalizable, right? It might have been an ill intending individual who did something to you. Maybe they exposed you, they lied to you, they did something terrible to you, and then now you assume that their perception represents the majority, and you internalize that treatment from this particular person to be your identity. That is another reason why you could have low self-esteem. And then another one is comparisons. Maybe you look at your peers. I know for a fact that whenever I go to social media, especially Facebook, because I find Facebook is where my peers are, people I went to high school with, people I went to even primary school with, and of course campus. I see them succeeding, I see them excelling, and Dorcas is here living in Mwihoko near Githurai 45. So I feel inadequate. And the thing is, I'm very protective of my mental health. I don't like spending a lot of time on social media. So that kind of helps. But I'm imagining the person who's addicted to social media, they'd be feeling bad about themselves. They'd be feeling inadequate constantly because of comparing themselves to this curated version that is available there. So yeah, that is what I would say on low self-esteem. Maybe if somebody agrees or disagrees, or if they have something to add, they can go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorcas, for your submissions. And I think you captured the concept well, better than I think I was struggling with words. And I hope that helps again for the benefit of Donald. It's more about the perception. And perception is not always the reality. I could give an example of the people that we call colorblind. Someone might look at a color and perceive it as green, but in real sense, this person is looking at cyan, for example. If my eyes and my mind and my perception tricks me into thinking I'm looking at a purple color, that does not change the fact that that color is cyan. So that's why, Donald, we were saying that you could be able to
May
do
I speak?
something.
Excuse me.
Just allow me to finish for a second.
No. How can I raise? Sure, let me just download the app. I really need to raise my hand.
Okay, please download. But what was being said is that I could be able to do something, but my mind always feels like I'm not good enough. I'm not up to the task, even though I have the skill to do it. Now that is what is called low self-esteem. If it happens persistently, it's not just a one-time thing. There is a big difference between self-doubt and low self-esteem. Because self-doubt, I think it's just that one moment or twice you feel like, I'm not so sure. But then if that feeling is internalized and continues and over generally everything in life, it becomes low self-esteem, where you feel incompetent even when you are actually able to do something. And some of the things that Dorcas has said actually contribute. Muriuki, your hand is up. You could say something again.
Yeah, thanks, Benson. I want to say, it's not you. No one can want to have low self-esteem or self-doubt. It's a human mind lying to you. It's beyond you. It's something that happens by itself automatically. So I think if you say you, I don't agree. It's not you. It's your mind lying to you, because you can't wish to have low self-esteem. It's not you. It's your mind. Thanks.
I am raising my hand. I am raising my hand. Can you guys hear me? It seems no one's speaking.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. I don't even think low self-esteem is actually something we should be discussing. I think, Moriuki, your mind is not lying to you. It's just telling you the truth. I cannot beat Magnus Carlsen in a game of chess. Why would I have? What? I don't understand. It's true, and I can beat someone else. Low self, it's just your mind telling you the truth. Now, Docker said something about. I am sorry, guys. I missed you, so I'm gonna speak a lot. Docker says something about feeling inadequate. If you feel like you are inadequate, you are probably right. Just accept that. Like, why should it be a problem? I think I cannot do that. I think I cannot do a lot of things. I cannot save a Lionel Messi penalty. Why will that stress me? Why? Please, I like to pose a very different position. I'm sorry. Somebody else can speak, but that's my position. It doesn't look like a problem to me. It just seems you are struggling with acceptance. If you think you cannot do this, you most probably cannot do it. I think I cannot beat Magnus Carlsen when we played a game of chess because I definitely cannot do it. It's not self-extreme. It's acceptance. I want to bring this into the topic. Acceptance. We accept
Okay.
what we cannot do and what we can. I'm
Okay,
done.
all right. For the sake of order, I would suggest that we do not introduce different topics because the topic at hand are actually out there in psychology research. It's not things that have been made up. They are real problems that some people struggle with. And it's okay for us not to struggle with them. Actually, it's even good if you don't struggle with any of these. So it's always difficult to solve a problem that doesn't exist or to solve a problem that you feel doesn't exist. I'm saying that to say, for the sake of order, maybe, I don't know, it's not
May I
dictation, but
speak?
maybe just a second, Donald, please. It would be good because we still have anxiety and fear. I feel it would be good if, for you specifically, Donald, you just waited until we get to anxiety and fear, things that maybe you consider actual problems, because we wouldn't be able to talk about a problem that you think isn't even a problem. So it would be good for the sake of the discourse and for the sake of, I guess, everybody else's time. You just sit this one out. If you feel low self-esteem is not a thing, I think it would be okay if we followed that direction so that we avoid in Itangwaji, just back and forth that is not taking us anywhere. Because actually the purpose of this thing is actually to propose solutions.
Okay,
Yes, so I feel it
may
will
I
be
answer you, please?
impossible to propose solutions to something we don't even consider a problem in the first place. So just it's just a request because we have two more topics.
Yeah,
And we
no,
haven't even.
it's. May I speak, please?
Please do, but just do. Yeah, in committee, please
Okay.
don't.
Okay, thank you. I'm not saying it's not an actual problem, and because you think I think it's not a problem. I'm giving you guys the solution. What makes me anxiety? Those are not problems. Those are things you go through life. That is literally the definition of life. Those are things you go through every day. I'm trying to give you my outlook on these things, which is like I just accept that you will be anxious, just accept that you will be fearful, just accept that there are things you cannot do. If you guys want some sort of order, it's okay. I apologize for this a few times. And I will sit this out, but I don't think it's a problem because you are not tackling the actual solution. Acceptance. I think if you accept you cannot do some things, you can do some things. You cannot, I cannot afford a Mercedes Benz. And then I am stressed. Why? For what reason? I know I cannot afford that. I don't know how you guys see it, but I don't want to destroy the meeting with all over because I know there are some of you guys seeking actual solutions, and I hope you get them. But for me, I agree with you. I think I should sit this one out. Okay, I'm done.
I will attempt to explain just one more time and see if you get it. Low self-esteem is not refusing to accept that you are incapable. It is being capable, but feeling like you are not. Feeling like, not being incapable, feeling like you're not. It's like you don't, there's some perception in you of yourself. Or let me use oneself, that negative perception. It's not the real thing. There is a big difference between I know I can't afford ABC car. There's a difference between that and I can drive or I can do ABC, but my mind feels like I'm not up to it. I think that's what being that's what we are trying to say, and it acceptance of some things could be a solution, which we are not there. We are not at the solutions stage yet. But this has nothing to do with denial. This actually has everything to do with wrong perception of oneself, undermining one's capabilities. I hope that helps. Muriuki, please again say something.
Yeah, thanks, Benson.
And I hope we will.
I want to ask Donald. I want to ask Donald there. When you have the two words, giving up, what does giving up mean? Giving up. And also, Donald, if you practice chess, maybe you might beat that guy. If you go and practice and get better and better, you might beat him. So there's practicing to get better, and giving up means what to you, Donald? What's giving up to you? Thanks.
Mariko, was there a question there?
Yeah, when he has given up, somebody gave up. That means what to him? Somebody I gave up, because now he's talking like he's given up already. When I hear Donald, like he's given up on so many things. like this guy of chess, he can't beat him. That's giving up. So giving up is a sign of low self-esteem, in my view. Thanks. And he sounds like he's given up, Donald.
Yep, may I speak?
Please.
Okay, Moriuki, that is a different perspective I did not watch it from, because you are actually right. I have given up. I will never beat Magnus Carlsen in a game of chess. So what uh, I see the perspective, but I don't see the question you expect me to answer. Like, yes, giving up to me, it's not giving up. It's Magnus Carlsen is the best chess player that has ever existed. You know, it's not like it's not like I'm giving up. I cannot beat the best chess player that has ever existed. I know I cannot do that, but I can do some other things, right? There are other things that I am very, not given up, in your own words. I know I can seal this, I can do this, I can get this, and I can do this. I just accepted the situation I am in.
All right. Thanks. There were two. Someone joined. Goose, welcome. I think also Wakim and S. Welcome, guys. I think you joined along the way. And someone had their hands up. I think it was Tommy and Cookie. If you guys still want to speak, we can start with Cookie. You say if you are still, I don't know, your hands were up, and I think now they are down. But I just want to give you this opportunity if you are still interested in saying something. Cookie, then after Cookie, Tommy Mogaka.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I wanted to add on. There's someone who was speaking just before Benson who didn't understand how someone can just not do something. It's not you you don't want to do it. It's you don't have the skills. The way Dorcas had spoken and said you are raised in a toxic family. So in your upbringing, you lacked the skills to suit yourself, to talk yourself nicely and to understand you can make mistakes and you can overcome them. That is a skill that someone learns. It's very hard if you have that skill. It's very hard for you to understand it for someone who does not have it. That's why most people with low self-esteem, some can go to therapy and the skill can be taught later on in life. It's not something that is permanent. That's what I wanted just to add on in, because I had missed a bit of the introduction, so I will listen more for the rest of the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Tommy, did you have something to say?
Hello, yes, I just wanted to make a comment, but I think you have largely addressed what Brother Donald was trying to present. The definition, I think we didn't begin with the definition of low self-esteem. That would have probably set, or maybe I didn't quite get it when you did. But I think, as you put it, the proper understanding of it is that it's not that you are not able to do it, it's that actually you are able to, or you have potential to, but you always think yourself as not enough. And I think also human beings, I don't know if I can quote this this author, Maya Angelou. There's a quote that she put across where she was stating, I think you've
I think Mogaka dropped out. That might be an issue. When he comes back, he will continue. So for those who might have joined along the way, we are actually at the beginning, and I think we have taken substantial time there. I had said that the overall topic, as we saw it, is dealing with loss of esteem, anxiety, and fear. So I just wanted us to go through each of them systematically. We started with low self-esteem, and how we were doing it is just offering a brief definition of it, and maybe a brief discussion of what causes low self-esteem. And then now we go to the heart of the discussion, which is now solutions or how to deal with it. So I had said something which Dorcas added to, that low self-esteem is just a persistent negative evaluation of one's self-worth, or it can also be the persistent lack of low confidence in oneself and one's capabilities, often characterized by the feelings of incompetence or inadequacy, things like that. And as I was trying to say, it doesn't really mean that you are not capable or you are worthless. It just means that you perceive yourself in that. It's a negative image of one's self-worth by one. So I would like to, Nani is back. Tommy, welcome back. I don't know if you had finished saying what you were saying, because you dropped out along the way as you were talking.
Sorry, I think it's just a network that broke. Maybe I can just in 1 minute summarize or less.
Yeah.
There's this quote by Maya Angelou, I've forgotten it, but she said something like, it's not the fear, the greatest fear we have is not that we are not able to, but it's that we are able to beyond measure, but we are afraid of that potential or releasing that potential. She put it in such a fashion. But I want to maybe add a little something. I think to some extent, low self-esteem not only prevents you from doing that which you cannot, which you ordinarily would do, but it also prevents you from going ahead to do those things which you are not able to do at the moment, but you would do if you didn't know that you could not do. Someone said, sometimes you can do something which so long as you don't know that it's impossible to be done, you can do it. There's this swimmer, I think it's called Eric the Eel. If you go to YouTube, you'll see a story. Eric the Eel was a swimmer who was just picked from, I don't know, some African country. They did a draft for swimmers. The country did not have any swimmers, so he came for the meeting. He showed up alone. So they gave him a swimming pool, a hotel swimming pool there, a very small swimming pool. He swam, and then they said, okay, fine, you'll go, take your pack up, you'll be going to the Olympics. So when he went there for the first time, he saw in his entire life a full-size Olympic swimming pool. And then now his self-esteem issues now came, because 100% he knew he could not swim. But now the funny thing is, when he went to the heats, now I don't know whether you'll call it fate or you call it God or you call it what happened, but the people who are to go with him to the heats, each of them did a false start. So what happened? He became the only person now to swim alone to qualify. And he went into the first, he had to now swim, knowing not how to swim in the first place, or not even knowing how to compete in a swimming pool of that nature. A long and short story of it is that the whole stadium, I think the whole audience who are watching, stood to their feet cheering him, and he almost drowned actually in the process of trying to swim. But he ended up building up his skill and finally even becoming a coach in his country. Just to give a final example, I know maybe most of us might not believe in what the Bible speaks, but there's this story of King David and the story of King Saul, and they were facing a giant called Goliath. Now, not in terms of the theology of it, but in terms of, I think we can learn psychology from these stories which are presented. So King Saul was actually the king, and he was the tallest man amongst his people. But against Goliath, he was the shortest. He couldn't compare. Now David came along, who was a midget compared to King Saul himself, the youngest of his family, and potentially the least, the one with the least capacity. But because he did not see, or in his mind, he did not see himself as less than, he was able to take down the giant. Saul, who had all the abilities and all the armor and all the skill, did not believe that he could. And the saddest thing of that story, he went into classic depression. He went into murderous, I don't know what you can call it. He had to actually use music to I think that's maybe something we can also discuss. Music as a way in which it works your mind. So he had to be played for the harp music so that his mental state could come to a level where he was no longer psychotic. But what brought him down to low self-esteem was that first of all, he became proud. He became so proud to the point that he hit a high where his pride or his belief of his skills could not sustain him against a real giant like Goliath, that he went down into so low self-esteem. So that's just what I wanted to comment. Sorry if I've taken too much time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
May I speak? I have raised my.
Magnus, nyamaza tafadhali. For the members who just joined, Brian and Maestro, karibuni sana. And with those many remarks, for the respect of time, I would really like us to move on to the next thing, which is possible causes of low self-esteem. I think we have built on the definition and conceptualization for more than 30 minutes. So we can move to the next step, which is now the possible causes. What leads Magnus, please.
As we wait for the admin to be back, you guys are gonna let me speak.
I'm back.
Okay,
I'm back. So as I was saying, we need to move on to the next thing, because we have 8 more items, and that's just the first. So the second one is, what are the possible causes of low self-esteem? Speakers so far have already mentioned a few, but now I want us to go into some details. We just take at most 6 to 10 minutes, just if possible, just list them. But I think one of the big category of causes of low self-esteem are developmental issues. And that is where some of you were talking about childhood issues, we're talking about bullying, things like that. So this is some sort of, I'm going to call it conditioning, like where your mind is taught that you are less than just based on what's happening around you. And one of them could be childhood criticism. Like when we are growing up, everything you do, you are criticized, everything. I'm not saying criticism is bad, but I'm saying that overly criticizing someone, especially a child who is developing the skills, overly criticizing them would lead to a feeling of, I can never do it. Or even in school, I don't know where you guys went to school, but where I went to, there was this habit where teachers would like to invite students to do like a general discussion with the rest of the class. So for a minute, the teacher would grant you the powers of the teacher, for example. So it's like you are the one who is on the board showing the other people how you did it. Now imagine when you are just starting to show them the math or whatever it is that you're showing them, and the teacher is all over you, telling you, no, that's not how you do it, blah, blah, blah. Then the English teacher comes and you are trying to read a sentence, and instead of being patient, they tell you, no, that's not how you pronounce that word, blah, blah, blah. Like that excessive criticism can lead to a feeling of basi mimi hakuna kitu ninaweza, even if you actually can, but it can lead to that kind of a feeling of I don't think I'm able, guys. And there is also something I think it's called conditional love, where you are only viewed as a real thing or as someone important based on the things you're doing. Yeah. Mostly it's kind of transactional way of living where the people around you only appreciate you based on the things you do. Like, once again, back to school. There are parents who seem to show bigger affection to the kids who are performing well in class. All right. That can lead to negative feelings in the minds of the other kids who are not doing as well. And then there is also, maybe I think bullying is part of it. Like, if people are always picking on you, you might end up feeling that you are not that worthy. And then there is also cognitive part of it. This is where your brain, now where Moriyuki was talking about, your brain is lying to you, right? So the cognitive part of it is and I think it's captured in what do they call it? They call it CBT, the CBT theory, cognitive behavioral theory. I think this kind of a thing is captured in that research very well. But the cognition of it, or the self-conditioning to feeling less than, comes from how you feel or how you view life. You begin to personalize things. Something wrong happens, you are like, oh, I'm the one who left the lights on, so it's my fault that today tokens is Misha. Or you fail once. I think Dorcas mentioned this earlier. You fail once and you apply that to everything else. You know, you attempt to run, watu wengine wakikimbia 4 laps, you attempt and you fail, and then you tell yourself, I can't do sports. And it was only your first attempt, but you overgeneralize, you tell yourself, me and sports, never. When in actual sense, you don't know. Maybe you can't run, but you can do football. Maybe you can't run, but you can do some other sports out there. But the fact that you attempted to run and you failed, you didn't even fail. It was just your first attempt, and it's expected that you might not perform as well. But you attempt it, and if you don't perform as you think, you quit. That can also be a source of low self-esteem. And then there is also that the cultural or the social part, which is now when you start looking at yourself in comparison with everybody else around you. And this is where things like hyper competition, again, Doc has mentioned this, I think, where you look at your peers, you are like, I went to school with this guy, like myself, by the way. I'm not saying I have low self-esteem. I'm saying there is a guy I know. We went to school with him, the same class from one south, same school. Right now is the big doctor, but he is the big guy in the medical field in my county, and we went to the same class. If I start comparing myself to him, something might start telling me I'm good for nothing. Then there is the social media standards. You start looking at, even the videos we watch, things like that, like the social aspect of it. When you start looking at yourself, or you start looking at the society as the mirror, and you try to see your reflection in there, you might find yourself feeling inadequate or feeling less than. So as I invite additions to that, I would like to say a big welcome to Ndeve. I think she just joined, and everybody else. I think Ndeve is the only person who has joined currently. And so at this moment, I want to just invite you guys to add onto the possible causes of low self-esteem. Moriuki's hand has been up for the longest, so please sweep our feet. Moriuki.
Thanks, Benson. Like I think I mentioned earlier, it can be inherited from your parents, or from your grandparents, inheritance and experience. Then Benson, I think I'll say again, it's not you at all. Stop saying you, because it's unfair to blame yourself for how your brain works automatically. So these things, they're never you. It's just a brain working by itself. So this you thing, I think I disagree with that. You. It's just a brain working. Thanks.
Thanks again, Moriuki, and your point is well understood. It's just that in daily life, in normal life, there is a very thin line between oneself and one's mind and one's brain. It's almost the same thing. The fine distinctions are really hard to capture, to conceptualize in real life. Brian, your hand is up. Please tell us what you got.
Hey, so thanks for mentioning the mind acting against itself. This is constantly a problem that's very difficult to discuss. I guess the only people who really understand this clearly are people who have been through extreme depressive states and their therapists, and people who like were familiar with the psychology of this. Like, there's I mean my main reason for speaking up, I think, is mostly to think about the types of things that I guess Muriuki and Benson, you mentioned both. I mean, a couple of things which are very in line with what actually does happen. The question could be in what's exacerbated in today's world, right? Like I don't know when humans started just integrating, I mean, not integrating, but just having very many unrealistic standards for social life. We constantly get exposed to perfect lives being lived on social media, which is all a screen, right? It's all fake. It's all like a snapshot of life. It doesn't have any continuity or like any direct relationship with whatever someone is actually going through. So that's possibly one thing that causes so low self-esteem, especially in teenagers, very young adults. But the effect that it sticks around for a very long time, it can be very difficult to reverse. Then there's like things like bullying, social exclusion. This can cause people to, I guess, constantly live in their heads rather than being out there. People tend to have been either trained or teach themselves to be resilient in order to get out of that state of mind. And that's constantly some of the work that someone has to do, and it's never really solved. Right? I think you already mentioned disapproving authority figures. When you have parents who are too critical, teachers who are too critical, caregivers who are too critical, basically gift you. I'm saying this like negatively, but they sort of gift you an internalized critic who is very, very strong. Right? So I think that internalized critic is what sort of causes the rift. And I think what Benson, you're kind of alluding to in this last point you were making is this critic. I mean, there's really no other way to deal with it other than to learn how to not listen to the critic, and how to like remove the tendency to speak of yourself negatively. Right? As often we just the first thing the first thing that comes out of someone's mouth about them is a self-deprecating joke, and then it goes downhill from there. Like there's just more and more stuff that can be said, and it's not really positive. So somehow someone ends up talking themselves out of a happy life, good opportunities, and so on and so on. So talking themselves out of opportunities for relationships, opportunities for love. There's like all these things that sort of compound. And it's the one thing that causes this, right? A very, very strong internal critic. Yeah, I think that's all I can say for now.
All right, thanks for that. Tommy, your hand was up, but you also shared something on the chat box. I don't know if you still want to speak. And guys, as we proceed, I want us to every speaker to say,
Excuse me.
okay, but I was saying
I
I
do
want
want
from
to speak. I want to speak.
it's okay. Just let me finish what I was in the process of saying, Don, please. So I was saying, as we proceed, every speaker is going to be getting 3 minutes per turn, a 3-minute turn. So please summarize whatever you have to say within 3 minutes. If there is more time, we shall be coming back. So, but before Don you speak, let Tommy speak. His hand has been up for some time. That is if he still wants to speak. So Tommy, please, if you still want to speak, talk 3 minutes, and then we give the baton to Don.
Thank you. I'll try and be as short as possible. Yes, I've posted something on the chat, and I think I concur with what most of you guys have been saying. I think a big problem of this is education, our education system, the way it's been designed in a competitive kind of. I'm not saying competition is bad, but the way it's been structured, it's bound to create self-esteem issues. That's number one. I think the mode of education that you take would likely create some self-esteem issues at some point, at some level. So I think our system of education is one cause. Then there's something I came across and I posted it on the side chat about education. That's why some people have opted for homeschooling, where you control the environment, you know your child, and you're able to ensure that you're giving them what they need. For example, let me give an example. The school system that we have is Prussian schooling, where you group students based on age, and you give them like that. So they'll be competing with each other, and none can help the other because they are just of the same level. But initially, before even this system came, children were grouped of all different ages. So the younger one who does not know much might learn from the older one, and the older one will be able to learn from someone who is older. So it becomes a feedback loop where they are able to help each other out. So another point maybe I wanted to put across is that what I've put in the chat, I came across it and I saw, just Google on YouTube, learned helplessness. These were adults, full-grown adults, just to show that this is not children alone. They did a test. One side of the class was given an easy exam, and the other side was given a tough exam. So when the exam was picked, these other guys of the other side were not able to finish. So they're wondering, how come these guys are finished earlier than us? Are we dumb? Are we foolish? At the end of it, the other side of the class stopped even trying even to answer questions because they had already been conditioned that they're not smart. Just another final example. In the 60s, there was a doctor called Dr. Marcel Geber. She came to do research
30 seconds.
Sorry,
30
she came to
seconds.
do, okay. She came to do research about African children and development and malnutrition. She was very shocked to discover that actually African children, she did this in Mulango Hospital in Uganda and I think in Kenya, some hospital in Kenya. She discovered that African children actually develop, or Black children develop and mature much faster than European or other race of children. And she was shocked that this advantage
Time
was...
is up.
Oh, okay, sorry, but thank you very much.
Wait. Okay, next, Don. Don, you had something to say?
Yes, I
have
do.
Exactly 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I think this self-esteem topic, I'm sorry for you guys because I joined on this one, but I think it's a very simple problem that we are just complexifying for no reason. I am learning to express myself and not be argumentative. So let me just try to put it out how I do. There is a lot of things I cannot do. I cannot build a phone. I don't know how ships are made. I cannot build a plane. But it doesn't stress me, right? But there are seven.
Sorry to interrupt, but right now we are looking at things that cause self-esteem.
So I am giving you the cause. Let me finish. There's like 6, 7 things that I can do. I can do valuations. I think it's caused by... I cannot even explain this. This looks like utter foolishness to low self-esteem. I am sorry. I have to go back to my insulting. It looks like utter foolishness to me. Why? An average human cannot do more than 1% of things that can be done. All of us, there is a lot of things we cannot do. Why will you have stress? I am struggling to understand it, and I am trying as much as possible to keep myself together and not get insulted. But it must be caused by the fact that you can't accept you are just us. Accept you cannot do most things. And focus on what you can do. There is 2,000 things I cannot do. There is like 6, 7 that I can do. So I just do those that I can do. How does it become a problem? That is my time. I'm done.
All right, thanks. David, your hand was up, or it's still up. Welcome to the meeting.
Yes. Thank you.
You
Thanks,
can get
Benson.
you can get 4 minutes because you were not there when we were doing introduction.
Thank you for your magnanimity. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I came into the meeting late, unusually late, but yeah, I was in another education forum or something like that. Now, I know I do not know what the question is, but I think it was you guys had arrived at what causes these self-esteem issues. I don't know whether we will overesteem ourselves or we underesteem ourselves. But I know that it probably stems from way back in our childhood, how we grow up, the people we engage with, but also our internal thoughts, how we process, even how we process criticism. There are people who really take even the leastest criticism very seriously, but it goes back to their early life. I'm going just to give a very simple example. So I changed schools. I was first of all put in school in a Catholic school. In those days, there were Catholic schools and Protestant schools. So because my parents were Catholics, my first school was Catholic. And it really was not a very serious school. So when I was in standard 3, I was changed, and thank God for the parents, to another school African Inland, which is Baptist Church, and they were very serious. So the place where I used to be in the first position in the class, that was gone until I left that. Until I left the new school, I never got. It was, yeah, the competition there was very tough. And I remember the first day I was playing with my cousin. I wanted to join a group where my cousin was playing. And this kid, we are three, like we're in standard 3. And this girl comes and tells me I am not included, but that's where my cousin is playing. So of course you can see how far that, the fact that I was not included and I want to play with my cousin. And this kid just comes and tells me, you are not included. And it was the first time I had not included. And I knew it was not a good one. And I knew it meant don't come and play here because, and I'm like, this is my cousin, I'm going to play here. So it becomes a tussle of sorts. And those kids were maybe more polite than the Catholic kids. And so she had to just leave me alone. But it stuck with me for a long time, but I did not let it limit me. But I do know that it did something to me in as far as being included in things is concerned. So
You have
I
1
don't know whether
minute.
whoops, yes, Benson. Okay, so now I am saying that our self-esteem comes from many different places, parents, peers, all these kind of people. And then the kind of things that we continue to tell ourselves from that time on. And definitely I've met other situations, and because of my internal conversation, I've probably helped myself more than impede myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Ndeve, for your submissions. I see Rachel has joined us. Welcome very much. There is also Papsi, although I think he joined sometime earlier. There's also Papsi. At this point now, we have heard what low self-esteem is, where it comes from. What can we do about it? What are some of the evidence-based mechanisms that can help people who are dealing with low self-esteem better themselves? I don't know if anyone has anything to say on that, because it's actually the main point of today's discussion. Some possible solutions and how we can address this issue. Hands up. I'll start with Muriuki. Muriuki, 3 minutes. Then after Muriuki,
Yeah.
Tommy. After Tommy, Neve.
Yeah, I think for me, what I'll say, it comes to family, parents. The parents are very critical. Like when a child is developing, the mother and father should take care of what they tell the kid, how they talk to the kid, how they nurture it, and also teachers in school. So parents and teachers are critical. Thanks.
Straight and to the point. Okay, thanks, Muriuki. So what you're saying basically is we treat it from the source. The same things that can cause this, we use them to address it even before it happens. I think I agree with that, because we saw that teachers and authorities can contribute towards low self-esteem. So the authorities should behave before it happens. Thanks. Tommy?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I just echo what has already been said by Sister Ndeve and my colleagues about the parents. Education is the key. I've been looking at education lately. I'm not a parent, but if God provides opportunity, I think the education is one of the foundations of how our psychological development comes through, starting from the family. The example I was giving for Dr. Marcel Geber, she gave the results that later she found out that even like the way African women carry the babies on the back, that already gave the advantage, developmental advantage, compared to the West, where the baby is laid on the back and not like attended to. So sisi Africa, you're carried on the back, you go to kulima, so you have to learn how to put your head up, move your legs and stuff like that. So eventually it becomes an advantage. But after development, at a certain age, you're kicked off. You're sent off to, I don't know, to do what, and it ended up reducing that. Maybe one final additional one additional comment that I can give is knowing your limitations. Now I'll try and maybe support what Brother Donald is saying. If you understand your limitations, you can save yourself a lot of heartbreak. The example of Saul I've just given. If you know you cannot do such and such, then you'll either seek to improve or try, and if you fall short, you pat yourself on the back and say, I've achieved. So the example I gave about land helplessness, if you set goals which are high in the sky and you don't break them down and make them small successes, eventually you'll wear yourself out where you reach the level you don't succeed. But let's say you say you become a millionaire. Now once in a kuku. Your kuku can improve, you do now the next step, you say now I'll move to selling cars. After selling cars, I'll do properties. Kidogo kidogo. Eventually your esteem will grow. But let's say you go straight away, you want to make 100 million or 200 million, and then you end up making nothing. Your self-esteem will tank, and you'll end up now being worse off than you are. Thank you. Just my comments are.
Thank you very much. I was actually turning my mic on to tell you you have 20 seconds. It's a good thing you finished even before. Deve and Dorcas, your hands are up. You will forgive me, Niwaruke Kidogo. I see Papsi as racist or her hand. Let them speak first, and then we will be back to you guys. So Papsi, please, the stage is yours. You can also have 4 minutes because it's your first time speaking.
Maybe Mr.
Welcome.
Chair, would you confirm if you can hear my voice?
I can hear you
Chair,
clearly.
Okay, thank you.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so first of all, I'm very sorry to have come late. I purpose to come to this because it's a topic I relate with, but here we are. Now, I've heard most of you talk, and it's some good positive things. And just a brief moment of just a brief moment of vulnerability. On my side, I'd say I've struggled with most of this. Low self-esteem, anxiety, fear not so much, but anxiety mostly. And it's a very bad experience. It hinders your
just
daily
to
life in
interrupt.
some sort of way.
Papsi,
Yes?
just a minute. You will get your full time. We were going with the order of the items as they were. So we started with low self-esteem. We started with low self-esteem.
Okay.
We are not yet talking about anxiety and fear. We will get to that in like 10 minutes. But for now, we are addressing low self-esteem. So we first addressed what it is, what causes it, and now we are talking about possible solutions as to how we can handle low self-esteem. So let's try to focus on that. And then
I want to speak on that, admin, please.
Okay, thank. Don't please wait. Please wait for him to speak. You will get your time. Kindly. So Papsi, continue. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So according to my personal experiences, one of the things that I did that helped with low confidence was, one, I went to therapy, and that's where I got to be aware of the very fact that I have, first of all, low self-esteem, and two, me and my therapist, we went through what could have been the causes of the root cause of all of this. And so just talk therapy in itself is a very good thing because it makes you aware. It makes you know what are your triggers. It makes you know the root causes, how to avoid them, and how to go about building your self-esteem back. I tried some of the measures that I was told and it worked. Not perfectly, but yeah, I'd say it worked majority of the time. Another thing that I would say is, when you are by yourself, sometimes you tend to think. So when you think, you try to be a bit self-introspective. You go through your own thoughts, you go through your own emotions, through your own feelings. You think, not necessarily rationalizing them, but just thinking about how you feel, what you are thinking, your emotions, your reactions to those emotions, and all that. And through this introspection, you tend to gain some knowledge about who you are, at maybe when you're at work, at your job. How do you tend to relate with other people relative to your self-confidence? Your self-confidence when you're at home, when you're with your parents, and all these things. So I'd say my main point is awareness. Just being aware of your mental state is very helpful because it gives you a compass as to where you're headed next relative to your healing journey. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Chair?
Oh, sorry, guys. I was speaking with my with my mic off. Sorry. I was saying thank you very much for your contributions. They are very useful. I think you have touched on something called cognitive restructuring, just that introspection, going back to yourself, knowing what you can and what you can't do, setting small goals, things like that. And yeah, I think your contribution is pretty useful. So the next person is Deve again. You have 3 minutes and it starts now.
Please. Please.
Don't kindly wait for your turn. You are after Dorcas. So when David,
Thanks,
Dorcas,
Benson.
then Dawn.
Yeah, thanks. I will not go to the point where self-knowledge, because somebody has already talked about it in how we relate with others. But I have 3 points that I would like to put out there, because for me, building my own self-esteem was a process that took it took a while. Took first of all self-knowledge. Out here in workplaces, self-knowledge is more encouraged than trying to know what other people are like, but it is yourself that it is more encouraged. And I realized that there is a reason why it is more encouraged, because you can't know another person, but you can know yourself. And it is only that, it is what matters. When you know yourself, it is really what really matters. So my first point is about negative self-talk. That it's only yourself who can challenge that one. If somebody said that, oh, whatever, I'm going to just choose, I'm just going to choose something that somebody long time ago told me, because I did not like hiyo kazi ya kwenda kufanya kazi every day tuko shambani. And then somebody told me that you are lazy. So I had to challenge that one and say that, no, I'm not lazy. But that one had to come later. I'm actually not lazy. It's only what I do not like and what I have not really believed in. But I was too young to realize that that is how we made our food, and that is how we made our uniform, everything that we got came from the shamba. So I was too young to understand that one. So I had to change that self-talk. The second point is self-compassion. Nobody is going to be as kind to you as yourself. So negative self-talk is not very compassionate. You are being compassionate to other people, but you are leaving the most important person who also needs compassion. It's yourself. So negative talk, you know that when you have got that negative, 30 seconds?
30 seconds. Yep.
So that one is
25 now.
Be kind to yourself, okay? The final point is to build positive habits. If you start sweeping the house, finish it and put the broom away. That is a very positive habit that you finished it. You wake up, you make your bed, you finish making it. That is a positive habit. Your self-esteem has just started. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Neve. Next person, I fully agree with all your contributions. Next person is Dorcas. Then after Dorcas, Dawn will say something. 3 minutes starts now.
Okay, my apologies, guys, for not turning on my video tonight because, as I said, I am juggling many balls. Now, in order to solve a problem effectively, you need to go to the root cause of the issue, or the causes for that matter. One of them, as we asserted previously, is a toxic family environment. There are people who are cutting off their parents. There's a generation of people who have realized that and they're cutting them off. Or your toxic family, people who are excessively critical, people who are always bringing you down. You need to cut them off for the sake of your mental health. And this also applies to romantic relationships. You can be partnered with somebody who crushes your self-esteem. They are terrible. And that is a dysfunctional environment that you need to eliminate. Another one is to pick healthy habits. As we said previously, comparison, social media, spending too much time there can cause low self-esteem. So avoid spending too much time on social media because it will definitely undermine your self-esteem. And pick up positive habits like taking a walk, exercising, and meditation, or even journaling. Now, speaking of journaling, you need to think through your ideas externally. Let your ideas not just stick in the head, put them on pen and paper. That process of journaling helps you to assess them objectively and see, am I really accurate in my perception of myself, or is this low self-esteem? So I think journaling can help. And then finally, I would suggest building skills, skills that boost your self-esteem. If you are good at something, if I know that I'm good at making chapatis or at doing hair, etc., then at least I know this is something I'm good at and this is a contribution I can make. You need to apply
20,
that.
25 seconds.
In society, join a group where you can apply those skills and they will boost your confidence. Thank you.
Thanks, Dorcas, for that contribution, or those contributions. They've actually touched on some things I was going to say when wrapping up. So there will probably be no need to say. Devin, perhaps you can put your hands down, I think. Dawn, now it's your time. 3 minutes. 3 minutes only.
Thank you. I applaud your wisdom in letting me speak last because Ndeve and Dorcas have mentioned what I wanted to say. Guys, I don't think this is an actually big problem. Low self-esteem. I, I'm trying to be very respectful because there may be people dealing with such an issue now, but I don't consider I am jealous. This is the problem you face in life. Surely, your problem is you don't believe in yourself. I'm glad. I'm gonna go and agree with Ndeve on when she said about you need to know yourself. It's when you know yourself that self-esteem problem. I don't know how you will get it. And then Doc has also said something about you need to find a skill. I'm gonna change her words a bit because I think you cannot do most things, but there is one or two things you can do. Find those things. You will not have a problem with self-esteem if you find that one or two things that you can do. If you can't, I'm sorry, you're just weak. Accept that, and life will. I don't know. It will be fine. I don't have much more to say.
Right. Thanks for those contributions.
Benson, can I
don't know,
add
will you take
something?
1 minute only? Additional time
Thank you.
will be 1 minute.
Thank you, Benson. I wanted to add, guys, be sponges for stuff. Google, if you can Google stuff, if you can go to YouTube documentaries, learn things so that when you are in a situation, you are able to contribute. You can, when you are able to contribute something that you already know, that is part of knowledge. I'm just saying, no, learn. And when you are in a situation and you are able to contribute something, your aptitude, you have improved your aptitude so much that you can contribute into things. You feel even better when people are talking. You are not thinking. You are not drowning because you don't know what what people are talking about, but you are aware of things generally. You are generally informed. Thank you.
Good. Muriuki, your hand is up. You want to add something?
Yeah, I want to share an experience. Some time back, I was learning to play the piano. So I noticed when I play the piano, when I play the piano by myself, I do it well. But when I went to the exam room, I found a Muzungu was there, a lady. I couldn't play it properly. So I don't know whether that's fear or anxiety. When I'm alone, when I practice, I'm good. But in the exam room, my mind panics and I start playing the wrong notes. So I think that's fear or anxiety. Thanks.
Okay. We will get to anxiety in like 5 minutes.
Can I also get some time, please?
Don,
I want one from Muriuki.
Please, let's move on to the next topic. You'll get time. You'll get time. Kindly. We have spent half of the time on one of 3 topics, which means we will be forced to not address one of the 3. So I think the conclusion to this topic.
Okay, I agree, but why is everyone getting some time, but I can't? I can't do it.
Muriuki hata alikuwa ameongea 1 minute out of his 3. He didn't even finish, but that's besides the point. Let's just move on to the next, please. When you get time, you will say whatever it is you want to say. So I think the conclusion here is that low self-esteem has to do with one's perception of oneself, and it can be caused by cognitive issues, cultural issues, social issues, and even developmental issues, basically due to people in authority and how they handle the person in question. And to address those, people have made several contributions, I think all of which are supported by evidence, in that you can activate your behaviors or behavioral activation, which is what many of you are talking about, learning a skill building, knowing how to do something and building your confidence, or knowing how to do something, honing your skill can actually help in building confidence. Cognitive restructuring, basically retrospection, looking into yourself and knowing what you can, what you can't do, and then aligning yourself accordingly. And of course, the beginning of it all was seeking professional help, which is therapy. All those are things that can help. But before you can seek help, I think you have to understand that you have a problem, or because you can't solve a problem that doesn't exist, as I said while we were beginning, or you can't solve a problem that you think doesn't exist. So I would summarize or sum it up by saying that step number one to all these solutions is first understanding that the problem is there, or is first getting to know yourself that, yeah, I may be dealing with self-esteem issues. When you spot the symptoms, seek help, build your skills and things like that. And so in that case, we see that self-esteem or low self-esteem is about how we see ourselves. But when we look at the next topic, which is anxiety, we will realize that it is mostly about how we see the future. And which brings me to the question, what exactly is this thing called anxiety? I know there is anxiety disorder and all those problems, but what really is anxiety? And in summary, I would summarize it as anticipation of a threat or a problem. Like that anticipation when you are expecting something, maybe it's something to go wrong actually, because it's a threat. The feeling of fear, the feeling of tension, the feeling of worry about what might happen. And just like with low self-esteem, anxiety is not necessarily caused by a real threat. It's just the anticipation of the perception of a threat. Sometimes there is no direct threat. There's no real threat. You're just anticipating it. You're just feeling like something might go wrong, even when nothing is going to go wrong, even when there's no plausible cause. And in respect of time, I really wouldn't want us to dwell on the definitions of anxiety, but we can operate with that knowledge that it is just the anticipation of a threat. It's just the feeling of tension, being worried about what is going to happen. And just food for thought, we could ask ourselves if anxiety is about worrying about the future or what might happen, when does normal worry become anxiety? That's just food for thought. And is anxiety always a rational thing, or rather an irrational thing? Is it just something that comes out of nowhere all the time? Or are there sometimes probable causes for anxiety? So I would like now to start taking, someone's hand is up already. Muriuki and Pap. Muriuki, did you lower your hand or did you lower it and you raised it because you want to contribute to?
Yeah, I raised it. I want to contribute. I raised it.
To anxiety. Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
very briefly, within 5 minutes. So in this case, when it comes to the causes of anxiety, we are going to be very brief because we want to deal with the main thing, which is now the solutions to it. So in this case, we are going to have 2 minutes each to just submit a few causes of anxiety, and then we can continue to the next. So we start with Muriuki, we go to Papsi. I don't see any other hand up. And now after Papsi, Don, you can speak. Is Don still here? Muriuki, you can start.
Okay, thanks, Benson. Okay, thanks, Benson. For me, what I'll say, anxiety is focusing on the future and tomorrow, which are not real. We have a now. There's only a now. There's only a present moment. When you're anxious, you think of tomorrow and the future, which is unreal. Thanks.
That was quick, man. But yeah, I agree with you partly on the fact that anxiety, actually, I think that was my opening statement. I said anxiety is about how we see the future. So anxiety is more focused about the tomorrow. Papsi, please. I wanted to give Don some minutes, but I think he has dropped out. I think he dropped, I don't know when. So Papsi, then after Papsi, Dorcas.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'd love to say this, that one, anxiety is not an irrational thing or illogical for that matter that your brain just comes up with. There's always something behind it. What might be irrational is your reaction to it. Sometimes you might react a bit excessively on it, on the negative side, or sometimes on the positive side. Reacting on it on either can be either good or bad. So it's a bit nuanced in that aspect. So I wouldn't say that it's irrational. There's always a cause. Two, I would love to say that one of the causes of anxiety is trauma, your traumatic experiences, of which we know there are many of the experiences that we as human beings go through to get to this point. So from my point of view, the biggest I'd say is trauma, especially trauma that is it's continuous for a very long time, so that your brain reinforces a certain idea or a certain response to certain experiences that you have. Now, three, I'd love to say that anxiety is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a normal response that human beings have. Everyone tends to have
10 seconds.
Thank you. Everyone tends to have these moments. So it's upon us or you or us human beings to rationalize about whether we are overdoing it or we are in the normal spectrum. That's it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So I do agree on the part that in itself, anxiety is not irrational. That's why I actually did that thumbs up. The reaction is what might be irrational. Thank you for your contributions. The next speaker is Dorcas, and Dorcas, you also have 2 minutes.
32.
Yes, causes of anxiety. 2 minutes.
Okay, I still have to respond to something Don said, because he's been downplaying this topic and making it seem null and void, irrelevant to have
Unfortunately, I think he left.
It's okay. He will watch the recording on YouTube. But if you let low self-esteem fester, he's trying to say that it's not a problem. It is a problem, because low self-esteem leads to substance abuse, so that you can cope with it. Sometimes it causes people to undermine their potential. You don't seek professional opportunities or personal opportunities. It ruins your mental health. You will develop anxiety, depression, and even suicidal thoughts. And your quality of life will go down. So those are real problems. Please don't gaslight us, dear Donald. Now, on causes of anxiety, I think situation can prompt it. A traumatic situation. I was once robbed, and after that, I started feeling scared of leaving the hostel that was in campus at night. At least I was able to overcome it. Another cause of anxiety could be your genetics. Maybe you have some hormonal issues within you, or you could be taking certain substances or medications that are causing this kind of outcome. And I have to distinguish, I know my time is up, but I have to distinguish between anxiety disorder and anxiety. As Papsi said, Everybody experiences anxiety, but it becomes a disorder when it is persistent and when it is disproportionate to the issue. Even when the issue is not taking place, you are still assuming that it will take place and you are anxious about it. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Dorcas. I agree with your point. There was another hand up. David. David. Your hand is up.
Yes, thanks, Benson. For me, anxiety is when you are so concerned about the outcome of something that it starts interfering with, even sometimes you get goosebumps, you get the stomach, you get that stomach thing that is associated. If you have sat an exam, and I'm sure most of you have sat several exams, you know that anxiety. That anxiety is normal because it's not as if you know what questions will be in the exam. This exam is important to you, but you do not know what questions will be in the exam, and you don't know if you're prepared properly. So that one is an example of something that you are going to be anxious about, and there really isn't much you can do about it. But if you feel that you prepared yourself very well, that can mitigate the anxiety. You say, okay, I prepared myself, I did all that I could, I'm ready for this thing. Okay. And then you can also tell yourself that, look, I prepared myself, I swat, I did whatever, and the examiner is not going to kill me. That would be the worst. But if you are taking as if that failing the exam is the worst that can happen to you, definitely you are going to be anxious. So I see a lot of self-talk in this, but I think every situation of anxiety is very personal to the person that is in that situation, because other people have they've got flies in the stomach, and other people don't have it. Other people have headaches when they are waiting for their exam to get into an exam room. Others do not have it. So
5
I think it's
seconds.
personal. Thank you, Benson.
Welcome. Right. Karibu sana Slim. I think we have a newcomer called Slim. He has joined. And perhaps your hand is still up. I don't know if you want to contribute or you just forgot to put it down. Okay. Perhaps he is not here. So those are very legitimate causes of anxiety, and it involves, like, there are some biological mechanisms, there are some past experiences. There is also some of the other things that causes low self-esteem, which would be social comparison. All those things can also cause anxiety. Like when you try to look at things happening around you and you're like, where will I be tomorrow? What will be happening? What will be the outcome of all this? All those questions, you might begin to worry. But another thing is, how do we address those? How do we address this problem called anxiety? And again, let's be mindful, there's something very important Dorcas mentioned. Anxiety disorder is not necessarily the same as anxiety, although there is no problem if we provide solutions to both anxiety and even anxiety disorder. So what are some of the solutions that could work to address this issue? Some quiet members like S. I don't know who S is. Rachel, we would like to hear your voice. Pia Slim, you can also say something about this topic. so that we can conclude in the next 10 to 15 minutes at most. And I think Muriuki's hand was up. Are you guys hearing me? I'm on a jongelesha.
No, me, I can hear you. I don't know about the rest. Me, I can hear you. I'm hearing you. Okay, yeah, I'll say what I said earlier. Let's focus on the now. This tomorrow and future don't exist. You only have a moment to act, which is now. So when you focus on the present moment, what you can do right now is no anxiety. Focus on the now, and tomorrow and future, when they come, they are now. So just focus on now. Thanks.
All right. And before we go to the next person, although no one has raised their hand, or Dorcas has, but Muriuki, while I agree with you to some extent that focusing on the now helps, sometimes it can be misleading because, again, we have spoken about school a lot today. If we could just for a second just go back in time in our minds to school life. If I just sat in class and decided that tomorrow does not exist, tomorrow is just in my mind, and yet tomorrow is paper one mathematics, but I tell myself it doesn't exist, I wouldn't score anything in mathematics. I would fail terribly, which means you really have to prepare about tomorrow. It is not a given, but you can't live like there is no tomorrow. I do understand the aspect of living one day at a time. I could say I have lived like that for some time because of stuff I was going through in life. But in actual sense, that's not a good way to live. When you completely write off the future from your mind, you prepare for big failure. It's like what they say, if you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. So I really want to discourage that thought of living without caring, not living, those are not your words, but someone could interpret them as saying, let's live without giving a damn about tomorrow. When in real sense, we really should. We should just be careful that we don't give tomorrow too much preeminence that it messes up with today. So I would say put priority on today, but somewhere in the back of your mind, somewhere very close to the front of your mind, actually, be mindful of tomorrow.
But Benson,
I think that would be.
Benson, there's no tomorrow. Benson, there's no tomorrow. There's no tomorrow. There's only a now. There's no tomorrow, Benson. Only a now.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. I think Dorcas, I think your hand, yeah. But I'm sorry, Dorcas. Let's hear El Maestro first, and you will have more time because it's his first time speaking since he joined. But don't be too happy, El Maestro. It's only 4 minutes, so don't waste them. Karibu, and your time has started counting.
Okay. Thank you, Benson. So I think this topic it needs you to be a good motivational speaker, and I really I'm not good at motivating people because I don't like giving advice. You know, because I think people everyone lives within their own reality, where one advice can help you and another one advice can destroy another person the same way. But you talk about low self-esteem. You should not downplay it because it's happened. You know, when you're talking, you should not talk from your own point of view. You should also consider other points of view who are facing low self-esteem issues, because these things are there. Whether you tell people do not compare yourself to this person, no matter how many times you tell them, a lot of the times in their day-to-day activities, they are always compelled to to compare their own life with other people's lives, especially maybe someone who they did not like and they see them thriving. Like religious people, they are always posting all the time the pain they go through, where they see people who are not religious, people who are do not believe in their God thriving, while they believe in this same God, but they are they are suffering. So these things happen. Whether you tell people how many times, I don't know, stop comparing yourself with other people's realities. These things happen. So about low self-esteem, I don't know. It just some things apart from not comparing yourself with others, just try to live your own life the best way you can. Yeah. And about being anxious, Muruki, I don't think you are being too philosophical when you say tomorrow does not exist. Some people, they know tomorrow is Sunday. You know? So when you tell someone tomorrow does not exist, is like, what are you saying? So being anxious, maybe you should always be prepared for anything. That's how you can avoid too much anxiety. Always be psychologically prepared for any outcome. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say for now. At least I have talked.
Oh, thank you, El Maestro, for your contributions. At least you have spent your time well. So you still have like 10 seconds to go. I will use those ones. Thank you for donating your 10 seconds to me. Dorcas, your hand was up. It's your time to shine.
Okay. I will not go into the rabbit hole of arguing with Morioki about whether tomorrow exists or not. It's an abstract concept that talks about time sequence. We have a past, we have present, and we have the future. So the future is embodied through the concept of tomorrow, but you struggle with abstract concepts generally. I've seen that on the group. It is a personal challenge. Anyway, let's not veer off topic. Solutions to anxiety. I think if it is a persistent problem that is not responsive to a certain situation, I was anxious before I went for that debate in Westlands. 1 hour or 2 hours before going on stage, I was anxious. But then the moment I went on stage, speaking to people and guys were responding positively, the anxiety faded. And actually now changed into something completely positive after the experience. So that is anxiety that is situation specific and it is justified. But if your anxiety is persistent, you are scared of leaving the house, whether or not signs are there that it is unsafe, you're just scared all the time. Or some people don't even have a thing that they can identify as the source of their anxiety. They're just anxious throughout. They have panic attacks, they're trembling, they can't sleep, can't do many normal functions because of the anxiety. Then there you need interventions. Some people can seek therapy. I am a supporter of cognitive behavior therapy. I use it for my public speaking clients because many of them suffer from social anxiety triggered by stage fright. So, in cognitive behavior therapy, you identify an unrealistic thought that causes the anxiety, and then you challenge it and replace it with a realistic thought. Then you can consider medication if it's so bad, if it is dilapidating. There is medication, but I think medication is a stopgap measure. Focus on therapy more. I
30
believe
seconds.
Okay. Other ways of doing it is mindfulness practice or meditation to still your mind. It's maybe too fleeting, it's just focusing on too much. So, yeah, meditation would be another solution. Thank you.
Thanks, Dorcas, for your submissions. I will now give this chance to Ndeve once again.
Thank you, Benson, once again. I'm going to, first of all, start with the fact about tomorrow. We do everything, every single solitary thing we do to earn a living. It's to make to eat. It is just to eat. Actually, let me just put it like that. Ni chakula. It's all about we are trying to eat. We are trying to get food to eat and to stay alive and for tomorrow. So if you are going to find food for today, and let us say you eat like a king today because there is no tomorrow. Tomorrow you are going to starve. So let me just leave it there. I'm not going to go beyond that one. So yes, tomorrow is going to be there and you are going to be starving because you lived like a king today and you didn't think about tomorrow. And I'm going to say, with anxiety, for me, this is how I deal with it. I say, in a situation, what is the worst that can happen? And once I say that, I tend to take the sting out of it. Did you prepare yourself for this? No. Well, then there it is. You did not prepare for it, or you did not foresee this situation coming, in which case there is nothing you could have done about it. If it is a situation that you select about something, that is different. But if you could not do anything about it, be compassionate with yourself. You are not a god. Maybe you are. You are not an angel. You cannot foresee. You can't see. Beyond a certain situation, and that's okay. Be compassionate with yourself. And then there is exercises. There is meditation. Meditation really works because you are reminding yourself. You're making your mind. You are remodeling your thoughts. Thank you. I'm going to donate the rest of my seconds. Thank you.
Thank you. You have donated about 40 seconds, which is good. So I don't think, Murik, your hand is up again. What do you want to say?
Yeah, what I'm seeing,
1 minute.
tomorrow is not guaranteed. Yeah, you can plan something, then tomorrow things just change. That's what I mean. You can't be sure about tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. You plan today, then tomorrow you find things just go against your plans. So tomorrow is not guaranteed. That's what I mean. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. At least you are agreeing that it is not guaranteed, but that's besides the point. I think people have mentioned some very important contributions and some very important solutions, including preparation. I'm hearing that if you are prepared for situations, it is highly likely to improve your anxiety levels. If you conduct those meditation things, mindful thinking, mindful living, you are likely to exercise lower levels of anxiety. Give me a second. Yeah. And I think there are other 2 or 3 things that might help. One of them, when I was looking around, I found this thing called gradual exposure therapy. It's a form of therapy which looks contradictory. I don't know if that is the word, or counteractive, but it's actually been proven to work, where you are slowly or gradually exposed to the things that trigger your anxiety. It's interesting, but apparently it works. So if you are afraid of heights, for example, instead of completely avoiding heights, we just slowly introduce you to heights gradually. So instead of taking you to the top of Burj Khalifa, for example, you just go to maybe the 15th floor of Times Tower and go to the balcony, na uangalie chini, like just slowly introducing yourself to the things that trigger your anxiety. And then there is also sleep regulation. In the courses, someone mentioned that there are biological causes or rather biological mechanisms that lead to anxiety. And one of the problems is when you lack sleep, or if your sleep is not well regulated. I'm not very good in biology, guys, but lack of sleep and good sleep, they introduce regulation mechanisms to the body. So one of the ways you can help this situation is by ensuring that you get good sleep. And also drugs. There are some bad drugs out there, one of which I tend to use, which is caffeine. Caffeine can actually cause very serious anxiety and even panic attacks sometimes. But that is only if you take a lot of it. So avoid excessive caffeine and you will be good. I don't think there is anything else left to say about anxiety unless someone wants to. And before someone else speaks, I wanted to say that I feel like time is far much spent. And if we try to address the other thing, which was fear, we might do what? We might find ourselves a lot late. So I think we can just be satisfied with the two, that is anxiety and low self-esteem, if that is okay with everyone, like a vaccine. So yeah, I think we can stop our tonight's, unless someone else has something to add. I think we can stop our discussion at the anxiety stage, and now maybe we can schedule another one sometime in the future to talk about fear, what it is. But it is very much related with anxiety. El Maestro, your hand is up, please speak.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say, you mentioned about heights. I don't know if someone fears heights. If when I hear about heights, when I was a child, I fell off from a tree, and I spent like a whole month in hospital. I know now. Since then, I started fearing climbing a tree, but gradually, I just where we are living in at the coast. We had like a balcony at the top, at the rooftop, and then a veranda in our house now. Slowly but gradually, they did not take through me. I just took it on my own. I said, let me face my fears. Even now, even though I fell off from a tree, I just decided to fall off to face my fears. And right now, I love heights. I love heights. Like literally, I've visited over 30 rooftop pools and rooftop hotels in Nairobi. I'm the biggest lover of heights right now, even though I fell off a tree and started fearing heights when I was a child. So just face your fears sometimes when you're found in such a situation. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
Thank you. Any closing remarks, Dorcas?
Yes, I can give the closing remarks and then unless if somebody has something to say, let them say it before me. before we end the meeting? Oh, I see some hands up. Let them speak.
Yes, I put that like a vaccine because of that incremental exposure to heights or to whatever causes your anxiety. It just works like a vaccine. And thank you. And yeah, probably a good cure or a good help. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Ryuki again?
Yeah, I just say for me, action and practice conquer fear. Yeah, so if you take action and you practice, it can destroy fear. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everyone has spoken, the ones that had raised their hands. Let me give my closing remarks and then just thank the participants. This one on exposure therapy, I really cannot overemphasize how important it is, because again, I use it practically for my public speaking clients. I use this mantra: the only way to and response is stimulated, or your anxiety response is stimulated by the novelty of an experience. So the more novel, the more rare an experience is, the more it is likely to induce fear responses or anxiety responses. But the more used to an experience you are, the less it is likely to trigger those fear responses. So it's something psychological. Your neurochemicals can't just keep releasing the adrenaline continuously. So it's really helpful for people to expose themselves to the cause of their anxiety or their fear. In this society, Skeptics and Atheists Society of Kenya, we have a lot of members who deal with social anxiety. That's why they're not coming for hangouts. That's why they're not attending Zoom meetings. I've spoken to several of you who've told me that you can't come to the hangouts because you are so afraid of people and social gatherings. My recommendation.
It's not as breaking. I can't hear nicely. Are you breaking? Or it's just me? It's like you're breaking. I don't know if it's me.
Hello.
Is it me? I hear you breaking somehow. Or it's me.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, Dorcas. Muruki it's maybe it is on your side.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Okay. I would urge you, whoever listens to this video recording, I would urge you to take that small leap. It's not a giant leap, it's just a small leap. Our hangouts only have a minimum or an average of 15 people. Show up to our hangouts. You don't have to talk. There are a few people who've come, and the only time they spoke was to introduce themselves. Okay, so you don't have to talk. Don't put pressure on yourself. Just take that small step. Exposure therapy. Do it continually. Come for the Zoom meetings, come for the physical hangouts weekly, and before you know it, the fear response will have dissipated because your body will be accustomed to it. So thank you so much, all that have participated in this discussion. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for that excellent job. You did your best to cover what we could within the timeline, and I do concede that it should have been redundant to talk about fear if we've already talked about anxiety, because they're really interrelated. So thank you for volunteering for the role, Mr. Pragmatist or Benson Timothy. Thank you, Donald, for your contrarian opinion, which I called gaslighting, but it's a valid opinion nonetheless. No opinions in our meetings are invalid. So thank you for showing up, Donald. We hope you'll take it a step further and show up to our physical hangouts as well. We know you. He was called, is it Aminia Pussy? Aminia Pussy, that used to be his username. Then he changed it back to Donald. So it was glad to have you. Thank you, Cookie. I think he spoke a bit. Then Brian Muhia also participated. And Deve, your contributions were really significant and helpful. Morioki, El Maestro, I'm glad you were able to get some time in there. And also Tommy, thank you, our brother in Christ. I saw him somewhere bringing up David, and I wanted to challenge him, but I was like, okay, we don't have time. We are already running late. So thank you, Tommy. He's a Christian brother. We will really need you in our next meeting. On that note, we will be having a TikTok live next weekend. Next Saturday, we'll not do Zoom or we're trying to work out a tool that can enable us to do multiple platforms. It might not be Zoom, but YouTube. We can do YouTube, we can do TikTok Live, and I think something else, but 3 platforms. We are working on it. Tomorrow we'll have a meeting with the officials to see whether it can sail smoothly. But if it doesn't, if the multiple platforming is not possible, just know we will be on TikTok Live next Saturday. Please show up. Last time our TikTok Live did very poorly. Very poorly. We just had like 4 participants. So guys, mchangamke. Don't have the app, download it. Download it and familiarize yourself with it. So yeah, guys, I wish you a lovely, lovely night and weekend ahead. Bye.